On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Courtney, don't do that. Don't even do it, because she
that goes
acting
back
like
to what Chicago said.
Can you sleep in the bed naked next to a man and not have sex with him? I'm just asking.
Yeah,
I'm just asking. Can you do it?
No.
Okay, can you sleep next to a hard cock that's rubbing up, spooning up against you,
Anton, please don't ever say that again.
and not take it. Can you lay next to it, rubbing up against you? Can you lay next to it, rubbing up against you naked, and not want it to go inside?
Is this deflection?
All right, y'all. If you guys are just tuning in, welcome to Lapeef Let's Talk. Make sure you guys get these likes up. Also, subscribe to the channel. It's gonna be okay.
No,
we getting right into the topic that I'm pretty sure that you're going to enjoy. So let's talk about it.
What?
Yeah. Let me change this real quick.
Why do you think I'm going to enjoy it?
I didn't say you was going to enjoy it. Did I say that?
Yeah, you said you think I might enjoy it.
Are you going to hold me accountable?
I'm going to just say you said what you said.
Okay. Shacking before marriage. Shacking before marriage. When I was younger, I stayed with my grandmother for a few years, and periodically, more so than often, I used to bring chicks back to the crib. And my grandmother would begin to see a pattern with different women at different times. And one thing she told me is that it won't be no shacking in my house. No shacking in my house. Didn't know what it meant, but I soon began to understand as I kept bringing the women over that she didn't want them over there. So as they would walk through the kitchen to head down to the basement, she would get these looks. And at the point in time, I didn't really care. I just kept doing it. But I would have a conversation with her afterwards. And again, she stressed there would be no shacking in my house. So let's talk about it. Shacking before marriage. Let's start with you, Kay. How you feel about that?
Living together? I think that
living together before being married.
I think that is totally okay. I used to be really against it, but
this girl got no morals. Let me go get an applesauce.
Applesauce.
My trainer Brick said I can't drink no more, so I got to get an applesauce. I can't do it, bro.
I used to be really against it, but I mean, I think it's up to each individual couple. Some people are completely fine with never living together, and that's cool. Some people will not feel comfortable getting married until they live together. So it just depends on the couple. I mean, I have no judgment either way.
Okay. Courtney, shacking before marriage. You don't like nothing that I do today.
I know. I'm sick of you.
Okay. Well, you might want to take that up with HR. Courtney.
You are HR. I'm going to send you a text.
Okay. Now I'm going to leave you on red.
No.
Courtney, shacking up before marriage. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I'm against it. I definitely don't believe you should be shacking before marriage. You should be living together after you get married. So I think a lot of times in relationships, what tends to occur is that we treat our woman like a wife and a husband when they're not. And that perpetuates being together for a very long period of time because, you know, what's the saying? Why buy the cow when the milk is free? I'm giving you access 24 hours to me and you haven't even married me yet. Yeah, no, you don't get that. So no, I do not believe in shacking before marriage.
Okay. Yanni, shacking before marriage. What are your thoughts about it?
I'm not going to say I'm against it. I feel like it's risky for a woman to shack up before marriage. It's just risky. You're going into something with a lot of women do it with little to no expectations. I feel like if I was to shack up, the only exception would be I'm engaged. I wouldn't do it with no engagement in sight, without marriage conversations happening, because, you know, as a woman, you're on a timeline. That's just the reality. So your biological clock is ticking. You don't have any time to waste. So it's like, why would you go and shack up if the end goal is not marriage? And a lot of women find themselves shacking up without that being the end goal. And then they see themselves wasting 5, 6, 8 years So I feel like you always have to make that, you have to set the tone in the beginning. If you don't, it's just very risky. And you're kind of just in this space where you're going with the flow, but you still have this expectation that you want the outcome to be marriage. But did you make that known prior to shacking up? So I'm not necessarily against it, but I do stress a lot on my channel that it's just risky. And are you willing to take that risk?
I agree with that, Yanni. Definitely.
Yeah, Yanni, one of the things about this platform is that we have those tough conversations. And what would you say to one that says that I don't want to wait? I want to kind of get an idea of what it's like to live with this person because I'm real particular. And who's to say that when we get engaged or when we get married, that we won't be filing for a divorce like 3 months later because I can't stand living with them? Like, what would you say to those particular people?
I would say I don't see anything wrong with living with a person for 3 months consistently, but still having my own place. Maybe even renting it out or using that space for something else. But I would still keep that because that, as a woman, as a modern day woman, that's my stability. That's my security. I can't bank on this outcome being what I want it to be because as people, we change our minds. And a lot of women find themselves in situations where they agreed to shacking up and then this man started living with them and now the conversation is different. You know, oh, maybe next year or maybe the year after that. So as a woman, you can't play around with that. Like you have to make your intentions known. He needs to make his intentions known to you. And then you guys can move forward on the same page. Even if that means you're staying at his place for 3 months and then he's staying at your place for 3 months. You guys are adapting to each other's routines, behavioral patterns, moods, personality, traits, and things like that. So there's really no excuse. It's just a matter of he has access to you versus, okay, he only has access to me when I stay over. That's the only difference. So I feel like a lot of women, they take that risk and then they get mad when the outcome is not what they want it to be.
Rilla, shacking up before marriage. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's talk about it, man. I know for a fact I've talked about this just using my personal example. So for me, I don't have a opposition to shacking. I think it's something that we see in modern society. We see it all the time. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, because I think when we cast that moral aspersion to people, right, then you also have to hold them accountable for having sex out of marriage, right? And a lot of times they talk about, when you talk about shacking, you're talking about playing house. But I like what Yanni was saying in the sense of conversation rule the nation. You have to lay down the ground rules off rip. There has to be an end game in mind. If you staying over here just to play house, or we're just, together so I got easier access to the coochie, then, our priorities are misplaced. You understand what I'm saying? But if the end result, and I do understand, I know it's some Bible thumpers out there. I know some Bible scholars out there that will 100% disagree with me. This is just me in my transparent moment. You know what I'm saying? I never said I was perfect on this panel. Never said I had all the answers. I'm just saying my perspective and my viewpoint. From a biblical perspective, we know that it's wrong, but we also can list a number of sins that we know are wrong as well. And so I think that as adults and as people of a particular age, that conversation is all important, and there has to be an end game in mind. You out here just playing house just to play house, then what's the end result of that? And that's where it becomes dangerous or ill-advised in terms of what Yanni was saying. But in my opinion,
it don't make it any less wrong just because one thing is wrong that somebody else is doing. You can't just go by and say, but you doing that too. It's both of them is wrong. It's wrong across the board. You can't subscribe to one thing. You can't quote the Bible and then say, but the Bible has no buts in it, bro. It is what it is. If you're going to quote it, then go follow all the way through. You can't say but. There's no buts in the Bible, bro.
Correct. So wait, hold on.
Okay. We're gonna come back to you.
And you're right, Anton. You're right. You can't quote the Bible in one. So if we're gonna take it, we have to take all of it, right? And that's why I said this is my transparent moment, because one could easily break everything down that you say from the rooter to the tutor. and say, well, this all doesn't align with the Bible, even though you speak from
I'm with that. Let's rock with it.
biblical perspective, right? So I don't mind being held. That's why I just said I don't mind being held accountable. And nor was I saying this one is wrong and this one is doing that too. I was actually saying when I look at when people talk about shacking, I said, you know, it's if you stay at your house and she stay at her house, but you're coming over to smash every other weekend or whatever, it's still morally wrong. It's still biblically incorrect. That's the point that I was making. So
is it right or wrong? Like, what's your firm position? I understood the context by which you.
I don't have a definitive opposition to shacking. I just said
that's crazy to me. How can you not have a position? That's what I was getting to. Like, what is the position? I
said I don't have a definitive opposition.
Not okay. Is it right? Or, I'm sorry. Again, I'm slow, bro. I'm so slow.
I hear you.
Is it right in your opinion, or is it wrong?
Hold on. I'm not opposed to shacking. I don't look at it from a right or wrong perspective. That's what I just said. But go ahead. Please carry on.
Kay, I want you to go ahead and say what you was going to say real quick, and then I'm going to go to Anton.
So I get what Chicago's saying, because he's saying, like, if we're talking about the Bible, which everyone doesn't even believe in. So, like, we can't, I mean, I don't look at it biblically.
We brought it up because he brought it up. I addressed it because he specifically mentioned it.
And
so go ahead and leave that out of your conversation, because you don't quote it, so you can't speak on it. So go ahead, continue.
I was gonna say that I feel like Chicago was basically saying that you cannot be like, ooh, the Bible, don't live together, but yeah, we're gonna have a kid, or we're gonna have sex, or we're gonna do whatever else that we do.
You're not qualified to speak on biblical topics, so just
you can't tell me. You can't tell me.
You're not qualified. You don't rock with it. You don't rock with it, so you're not qualified to have a conversation.
In fact,
I just did.
The Bible says that you can't tell me what I'm qualified.
I have a hard time.
Say that in the Bible.
Hold on, Courtney. She was the very first person that answered the question. She was the very first person that answered the question and said she don't think it's wrong. So based off that premise alone, we know that you don't believe in it. So what are you talking about?
I said for some people, they don't rock with it, and some do, which is the truth. And my thing is,
your position is similar to Rilla's, because you didn't take a definitive stance either. So it don't, like I said, just leave that out of the conversation. Go ahead and state your opinion, but you're not qualified to speak on stuff as it relates to spirituality.
That would be like me saying you're not qualified. That would be like me saying you're not qualified to speak on the Bible because you had premarital sex. We can't do that.
You don't believe in it. What are you talking about?
How are you going to tell me what I believe?
Do you believe in it? Just say you do then.
The Bible is a great book.
Do you believe in it?
It's a deeper conversation than yes or no.
Exactly my point. Like, if you did, it wouldn't be an issue on you stating it, and that's cool. No. I'm not tripping if you don't. But just leave it out of your conversation of reference when you can't even stand on whether or not it's real or not in your opinion. Don't even quote it, because if you start to quote it, people know. If you start to reference it, somebody may mistake you for being somebody that aligns with it, and then that would be the wrong impression to give other people. So let's be clear.
Let's just have a conversation.
None of these things. No one needs to take me as that. All I'm saying is that Chicago was talking about how can somebody be like, oh, I'm going to apply the Bible in this situation, but I'm not going to apply it in this other situation. I think that's all he was saying. Is that what you were saying, Chicago?
That's a fair assessment.
Okay, that's all I was about to say. I wasn't.
But Chicago going to speak for itself. We had a conversation. Speak for you. He got his own opinion. He a grown man. He can support his own argument. So what do you think? Because clearly, when I asked you a direct question, you didn't have a position either way. So what is? I said, did you believe in it?
Believe what? The Bible?
Jesus Christ! Come on, man. Let's keep it moving, bro.
All right, Anton.
It's funny that you said Jesus Christ. Okay, go ahead.
What?
No, because.
All right, go ahead, Anton. Shacking up before marriage. What's your thoughts on it?
I'm completely aligned with Courtney. I don't believe in it. I don't rock in it. I don't rock with it. And for me, it's a very black and white. All things are black and white for me. Either it is or it isn't. Either you married or you single. Either you shacking up or you truly living a married life. And I've never understood, and I've never ever been able to comprehend the logic behind somebody doing something and not getting the full benefits that come along with it. I never understood somebody working for a company and not getting the benefits of working with that company. Like, you know what I'm saying? Unless you agree, like you can't even get a job, whether you're a contractor or you're a W-2 employee, without signing paperwork. There's nothing in this world that you can do tangibly from an ethical perspective, whether you're looking at it from a business perspective or you're looking at it personally. There's nothing that you can do that people would support a narrative, right? Unless you actually put real structure behind it. So then when we go along and we start to adopt a lifestyle, this weird lifestyle where we start to have this mishmash of things without any kind of definitive structure or real tangible results that come along with why we're doing things. And then we'll start to try to have all of this conversation of what's wrong with the household, what's wrong with the family structure, Black community, and all of this stuff, the type of stuff. Well, it's very clear to me that we don't have a definitive position that says yes or no, everything is all gray area. So then that's going to extend to every other aspect of your life. Your whole life is going to be a gray area of trying to figure it out without any kind of clarification, because it starts in your own household. And that's why I'm a big advocate for always saying, clean up your own backyard first. Stop trying to have a conversation amongst everybody about what's wrong with everything in the Black community and all that stuff. And you can't even get a real solid answer about people and how they're living their lives in their own households. So I don't subscribe to the narrative of being able to shack up before you get married. It don't make sense. You can't have the cart before the horse. So if you want to do things, you have to do it orderly and make sure that you're taking care of your business first. Cross your T's, dot your I's. I don't even know anybody that'll go and work at a job unless they had a real solid written offer and an agreement and signed paperwork with HR to indicate that, yes, I'm an employee, or yes, I'm a contractor and I need to do this, this, and that in order to get paid. That makes no sense to me. I don't believe in it. I never subscribe to it. My family don't subscribe to it. And to a larger extent, it's the reason why my family and every single person that I know have been successful in their marriages. I think it's a difference.
I want to say this. I really feel like it comes down to choice. This is why it's like I just label it as risky. I don't feel like there's a right or wrong way, because there are exceptions. Like there are people out here that have shacked up. They have a successful marriage. Is that always the case? No, but there are cases out here and scenarios out here where people were successful. So I just say it's risky. And as a woman, there are just certain risks I'm not willing to take. So it's like, I agree with Antoine because I have that same perspective, but at the same time, there are going to be exceptions with just about anything in life. There are going to be people out here that's going to be like, well, it worked for me. It was successful.
I've never heard. Matter of fact, I hear a lot of times relationships fail because they shack up. And if something is risky, then why would you not have an affirmative stance and say no, because these are the risks? I'm not going to say, ride the fence off something that's risky. That's not fair. And to have,
marriages are risky. I mean, look at the divorce rate. Like, I mean, everything.
Marriage is not risky. Marriage is incredibly beneficial.
If we're talking about statistics.
What's wrong is that you have people redefining how marriage works. And so marriage from the perspective of somebody that don't understand what marriage really means is risky. Marriage is not risky for people that understand it and go into it with the right mindset and are moving in a purpose.
But
and
going
it's a
back
reason
to what we talked about earlier,
it's not
like
risky.
How many people are in that mindset? Does anybody know?
Which means that you need to do some more research and aligning yourself with somebody that actually knows versus communicating this thing that you think you know and it's actually hurting people, whether it's versus helping people. It don't make sense. It's too many people talking about what they think marriage is, and ain't nobody successfully married.
People should align themselves with people who know what marriage looks like. I completely agree. Right. Does anybody know what the Bible says about living together?
Okay, why are you still talking about the Bible?
I'm just wondering.
We're not even gonna have this conversation.
Okay, but why? Y'all have every week we talk about the Bible. Let's make this our biblical part Where y'all
because we know you coming from a disingenuous place.
No,
You're not
I'm
actually
not.
trying to learn nothing.
Yes,
You're just
I
talking so
am.
that you can try to.
No,
you're just trying
I'm
to have.
not.
You're just talking, bro.
Anton, okay. Do you want to text it to me later? Like, I just want to know, like, what does the Bible say about living together?
We're not participating. Go ahead, JR.
What does it say about does Chicago? Do you know, or are you on strike?
I'm pretty sure Bolo TV can.
What does the Bible say about living together?
I'm pretty sure Bolo TV can answer that for you.
I was about to say the same thing. I'm pretty sure. I don't
Kay got 1,000 books in her background, and she don't know how to pick it up and research and find out what the Bible says.
Right,
but she want us to explain it to her.
You're right.
Get out of here with that, bro.
You're right here. You can just tell me, what does the Bible say about living together?
I'm pretty sure.
Do you think if you if you live together with your mate, are you gonna have sex?
I'm trying to ask what the Bible says.
I'm asking you. So if you live with your mate 24/7, you work from home, he work from home, whatever. You don't think you're gonna have sex?
Okay, so is it the sex part? It's not the living together part. I'm asking because that goes back to what Chicago
Courtney,
said.
don't do that. Don't even do it because
that goes back to what Chicago said.
Can you sleep in the bed naked next to a man and not have sex with him? I'm just asking.
Yeah,
I'm just asking. Can you do it?
No.
Okay, can you sleep next to a hard cock that's rubbing up, spooning up against you,
Anton, please don't ever say that
and not take it. Can you lay next to it, rubbing up against you? Can you lay next to it, rubbing up against you naked and not want it to go inside?
Is this deflection? I'm asking.
No, I'm asking a question. No, I'm answering your question, but I'm answering it the way I want to answer it.
I said, what does the Bible say about living together?
Here we go. See, she don't want to participate. No. I know, but I'm taking you down this path to help you to understand. I'm not gonna answer your question the way you want me to answer it because you don't answer questions. We're gonna do it your way. We're gonna take you down this path and we're gonna give you some understanding. So
I'm your leader, Anton. I'm your leader.
Answer it for her.
She don't want to answer it.
Go ahead, Yanni. Go ahead, Yanni.
No, we're not gonna go for that. We're gonna give in. We have needs, we have urges too. And the Bible is not going to stop that. That's just the reality. That's why so many people are out here having sex before marriage. So,
but does the Bible say anything about living together?
Oh, Jesus.
I feel like that.
Yo, Yanni, welcome to K. Let's talk. Go ahead.
I feel like that's part of living together. Like, if you're attracted to that person, you're gonna want to get it in. Like, you're not.
Okay, let's say it's not.
So therefore, as a Christian, we don't believe in shacking up because we don't believe in putting yourself in a situation to sin.
Thank you.
Okay, so
it says you even have to you even have to shun the appearance of evil. You don't even because sin first happens in the mind. Right? You don't put yourself in a position to have to reject temptation. We've seen countless examples in the Bible over and over and over again. It's not even a question. It's not even something worth answering to anybody that believes. You don't put yourself in a position to have to reject temptation. It's hard enough to reject it as it is. It don't even make sense. You still want to have this conversation?
I was just asking. So it was like a yes or no?
Oh man, she chose violence. She got the black on. She chose violence.